It is 11 o'clock. We'll head to Tuscaloosa, Alabama momentarily. We've already gone to Austin, Texas. Find out what's going on with Arch Manning. A lot of talk about a lot of NFL talent not there in the wonderful city of Austin any longer. They're in the swamp this weekend taking on the Florida Gators. But Vanderbilt is coming to Bryant-Denny Stadium. We'll talk to Rodney Orr momentarily. But, when it comes to your roof, you need a company you can trust, a company that delivers on its promises. In Trustful, in Vestavia, across Birmingham, across Central Alabama, that company is Abide Roofing, and their customers agree. Abide is rocking a perfect 5-star rating on Google, and here's just an example of some of the things that's been written on their Google reviews. Abide Roofing is trustworthy, easy to work with. They work hard and have strong values. They're always willing to help, going above and beyond. If you're looking for someone honest, hardworking, and reliable, Abide Roofing is your team. They know the industry inside and out. I trusted them with obviously one of the largest investments I'm ever going to make, and that is a new roof on my home. Just a couple of years ago, I called Travis Lloyd and his local roofing team, and they came. They dealt with my insurance company, and everything that the Google reviews say, I can back up 100%. Call Abide Roofing. They could take care of you today. Free estimation. They're going to get on your roof. They're going to tell you what's going on, and there's no strings attached. 205-941-6223. Or visit their website, abideroof.com.
Our friend Rodney Orr of Tighter Insider here to break down the game Saturday coming up at Bryant-Denny Stadium. He joins us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Rodney, how are you?
Doing well, guys. How's it going today?
Doing great. In all of your years there at Tighter Insider with your wonderful subscribers and there on the message board, can you remember this much talk, anticipation, chatter about an Alabama-Vanderbilt matchup?
No.
Quick answer.
Bluntly, no. It's pretty amazing, though, where we are right now. But, the game has changed, and, Vanderbilt has a really good team, man. So Alabama's got a real challenge.
Let's go back and talk about what was successful in Athens, Georgia. And I know I'm setting you up for a pretty easy answer to this question, but Ryan Grubb in the first half against Kirby Smart. Do you remember a time when Kirby Smart was on his heels that bad as a defensive coordinator or a defensive-minded head coach?
Well, listen, again, there have been some times, and I think a lot of those have obviously happened against Alabama. I mean, I think when you look at go back to the SEC championship game a few years ago when Bryce ate them alive, when Mechie and Jamison Williams were both healthy. Obviously Alabama had a big day. Bryce went for over 400 yards that day. And then I think, even last year with Milroe and his elusiveness and the things that he did, he had a great day. That was probably his best day ever at Alabama. And, kind of had Kirby in the first half anyway. And then I think in this game, obviously, it's kind of same thing. Alabama gets off to a fast start. Yeah, Ryan Grubb was really aggressive. Again, he set up a lot of those plays really well, jumped out to a 14-0 lead. And, again, I think they're thinking over there on the Georgia sidelines, here we go again. But it turned into a defensive battle, in the second half. And, I didn't think Alabama's defense played extremely well in terms of defending the run. Georgia got the edge big time, several times. But in the second half, later in the game, the defense really showed up and made some big stops. And it was really turned out to be a complete team effort.
All right, now that we're a third of the way through the season, or maybe even a little bit more than that, what question marks, Rodney, do you still have about this Alabama team?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think first of all, if you want to start on the offensive side of the ball, still I think they need to continue to develop a run game because I think it's going to become important. And I think they tried to do that against Georgia. It was actually, to be honest with you, it was a little better than what I was expecting. They had 117 yards rushing. They created some ways to run the ball. I think Jam Miller and Kevin Riley had some really important runs, and I'm talking about 3, 4, 5-yard runs. Those were, pretty solid runs there. I just think they have to continue to get better at that, running the football. And then on the other side of the ball, you've got some injuries that you're going to have to overcome up front. Obviously, Clay Rousseau is out for a good part of the next coming several weeks. And then you lost your Marion Latham there at that outside linebacker spot along with Rousseau. So you got to figure out what you're going to do there. There's some talk that Deontay Lawson may move to the outside, and we may see him a lot working at outside backer. So that certainly would be something that's interesting. But again, I think you got to stop the run too. I mean, you look at Alabama right now; they're giving up 160 yards a game rushing. I think you have to get better than that.
Talking to Rodney Orr from Tider Insider, joining us here on Three Man Front as he does each and every Thursday. Your thoughts on Tim Keenan and Jam Miller coming back against Georgia, and what kind of lift that has been in a very short time for the Tide?
Yeah, I think it has been. I think, obviously Tim Keenan, he's the leader up front. And with all the injuries they've had, he's even more important than ever now, just having his presence there. I thought he, again, brought some of that emotional leadership that they needed up front. And then I think Jam, obviously coming back, is going to help the run game. I think it gives you the experience. Now, again, I think Jam still was kind of feeling his way a little bit. I think as he, continues to play, he'll get more into a rhythm. But he provided a couple of big runs. He had a 3rd and 3 run where he bounced it outside. That was a really nice play. And then, you team him with Kevin Riley and it gives you a little bit more of a 1-2 punch.
Rodney Orr, Tider Insider, joining us, his weekly visit here on Three Man Front and joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. With the style of offense that Florida State and Thomas Castellanos had in the first game in Tallahassee versus Alabama, a little bit of a similarity with what we're going to see from a running quarterback in Diego Pavia. Kane Womack, the plan, how do you expect it maybe to differ, or do you think it's maybe the same approach with just different effort and execution?
Wow. If we're comparing it to the Florida State game, I'm not really sure what they were doing, to be honest with you. I mean, it was just, you guys saw it. It kind of looked disoriented out there, to be honest with you. They've had trouble with these kind of quarterbacks, the running quarterbacks. So, yeah, and I was actually talking to Wallace Gilberry yesterday, former, Bama player who played in the NFL. We were talking about it, and he was talking about when they defended Johnny Manziel in the NFL and what they did. And, they really didn't want to rush him too aggressively, kind of mush rush and keep him kind of in the pocket and, really let him come to you, so to speak. And, then play a lot of zone behind that. And so I don't know. I don't know exactly what Kane Womack will do this time, but hopefully with the experience that they had last year, they can go back and look at the tape and look at what the Florida State game and devise something that they feel comfortable with and that the guys are comfortable with and confident with and know where they're supposed to be. Because I thought the Florida State game, the one thing I thought was just so much confusion. I don't know if the play calls were getting in late. I know last year in the Vanderbilt game, a lot of things we heard from the players was that the play calls were getting in late. So the signals were getting in late. So hopefully they'll get that rectified.
Rodney, a lot has been discussed, especially with Kirk Herbstreit the other night during the Alabama-Georgia game. He was, for Kirk Herbstreit, he was very critical about Ryan Williams and the fact of his drops and, matter of fact, his blocking. And we saw him exit the game for a little while. I don't know if that was just kind of a reset by the coaches to get him on the sideline to kind of wake him up a little bit because the start he had over in Athens was not very good. Are you hearing anything off the field or practice information that would lend you to believe that there's something going on with Ryan Williams?
No, not really,
Okay.
in terms of specifically saying exactly what's going on there. And again, I think Herbstreit was right in terms of, those the times that he pointed things out. I do know one time when Ryan missed that block there, I think it was on a quick throw to Bernard. I do give him credit because I went back and watched that. He did miss that block, but he did go downfield and make a lot of effort to get another block. But the drops, I mean, I don't know if it's just a lack of focus, lack of it, whatever it is. Sometimes you get the yips, that happens.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. I do know this too, and you guys will remember this. You remember Julio?
Oh,
his
yeah.
sophomore year, he dropped a ton of balls.
Sure did.
And so sometimes that happens. I don't really know on specifically what's happening, but I just think it's really just Ryan focusing, and he did come back and make some tough catches too, where he took some shots.
All right, Rodney Conrad is super excited. We wait on this when we visit with you every week during the season. Your prediction for Alabama and Vanderbilt?
Yeah, so like I'm talking to people and they're telling me, oh, this is going to be Alabama's going to hold Vanderbilt to 17 or 21. If they do that, that'd be a really good defensive effort against Pavia. They're averaging 49 points a game.
Ooh.
But they're only giving up 17. And Vanderbilt, can you believe, and people say, well, they haven't really played anyone that runs the football effectively. They're only giving up 79 yards a game rushing. Alabama's, like I said, giving up 160. So anyway, with all that said, guys, I say high scoring. Alabama. The key to me is Alabama's got to play ahead. You can't fall behind 13-0 right off the bat to Pavia. You got to play ahead. So with that said, I think Alabama will do that, and I think I picked it. I'm going high, 45-34.
Oh,
Settle down, Conrad.
Shootout. Man, yeah.
So what do you guys think? You think it's going to be high scoring or what?
Yes, we do.
Yep.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
We do. Yeah, we agree with you on that. And it'll just be great to see Johnny Manziel again in Bryant-Denny Stadium, Saban Field. That'll be great. That'll be wonderful.
Yeah. Well, Manziel lost to Alabama his second time. It was in College Station.
It was. Yeah, it was.
So,
very, very hot day in College Station.
Was.
It was like 125 degrees. They almost called the game off.
Bama almost gave up 600 yards or somewhere along
Was
there.
that the game where Nick Saban had them ship out air conditioners?
Yeah,
he did a few times.
Yeah,
right?
the whole locker room was a disaster at Kyle Field for visiting teams,
and it should be.
Well, it's
now, if it's 125 degrees, and then it becomes a health concern for your for the opposing play. I don't want anybody having a heat stroke, but
yeah, that was supposed to be going to be a year or two of the reckoning, and I'm talking about the reckoning of Texas A&M owning Alabama, and then they went in there and took care of business. So, but yeah, the defense was porous that day. Johnny
49-42.
Yeah, quite a game.
Whew.
Yeah, it was
big time.
Mike Evans had a big day.
Yeah, he did.
He had a lot of big days.
Yeah, you're right. But
Sure
that was
did.
an especially big one.
It's nice when you have an athletic 6'7" wide receiver streaking down the sideline.
Yeah. And he's still cashing those checks now for
Yes,
the
he
Tampa Bay
is.
Bucks. So yeah, big time. Rodney, always a pleasure, my friend. Have a good weekend and contain Conrad, no matter what he's doing in the press box. Just always,
You have our permission.
Yeah,
if he gets
Guys,
out of line.
I'm telling you, he's in line, man. He's a great representative.
Okay, all right. I know he wears those weird shoes, so I just want to make sure that it doesn't embarrass us.
I'll
too
have to
bad.
check those out. I'm gonna make sure.
I'm a professional. I wear closed-toe shoes in the press
Oh, you
box.
do. He just doesn't do it at work, Rodney. It's
Correct.
embarrassing.
Okay.
The stuff that he wears
Well,
to
there
work.
you go.
So
He knows
all right.
where he can get away with it.
Yeah, Rodney, have a good weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Rodney.
Okay, guys. Thanks.
Take
Appreciate
care.
it.
All right, that's Rodney Orr joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Interesting conversation surrounding Alabama and Vanderbilt. Some takeaways Rodney said. Open up the phone lines to you. Three-Man Front continues on this Thursday.
It is 11:17. Welcome back in on this Thursday. This is Three Man Front on Jocks. Appreciate everybody joining us on this Thursday. Eric Henry from Horns 247. You just heard Rodney Orr from Tider Insider. Man, a big score prediction by Rodney Orr. He says it's going to be a high-scoring game. He goes Bama 45-34. I read this morning in the Tuscaloosa News that Colin Gay, he's got Bama winning 35-24. Chase Goodbread from the Tuscaloosa News, he's got Bama winning 31-23. And you heard Chris Lee from Vandy 247 yesterday on this program. He predicted Bama 38-31. So if you like defense on Saturday, you might not see much at Bryant-Denny Stadium based on the predictions.
Maybe you want to tune into the game in Gainesville with Texas and Florida.
There might be two teams having a pillow fight in a phone booth.
800-239-WJOX. We do have phone calls. Let's go to Rocky Mountain Glenn. Hey, Glenn.
Hey, guys, I have a confession for you. Last Saturday, we were up in the mountains hiking near Beaver Creek, and we did watch part of the Bama game. And did you guys see how accurate Ty was zipping that ball into the end zone?
He looks good, doesn't he?
Yes, and I said this to Conrad off the air. I really believe after the end of the season, a lot of people are going to wonder how come Ty did not start last year. He's that good. I said it last week when I called.
Glenn, I think people have already beat you to it.
Yeah,
I think they're already asking that question.
Yeah.
He's something special. And did you see how he's leading the team off on the bench side?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's checking all the boxes right now.
Milroe wouldn't do it. Like, he'd come off a play, Milroe would sit down on the side. And Ty is leading this team. And so I will tell you my score prediction. I'm going Bama 45, Vandy about 13, Vandy 10, somewhere in there. Guys, that defense is dialed in. You don't go into Athens at night, blackout game, and hold Georgia in the second half to 0 points. No one does that, except Bama, of course. I mean, that's like going to LSU at night. It is a hard place to play. And they kept Georgia from scoring. And I think our defense is going to show up. It's going to be tight. Yeah, Pavia's going to get one touchdown probably in the first, second drive of his series. But they're going to shut him down. And I fully believe this team is special. I believe Ty's special. And you guys know it, after that game last Saturday, Bama has a very favorable schedule, very favorable. And, here's the thing. After the game, that video of Ty seeing his mom outside the stadium? Wasn't it awesome?
It was.
Guys, that is some guy who loves his family. He's a good guy. He's a Christian. And, a solid guy. And he truly is passionate about what he's doing. He's waited. He's served his time. He's been faithful. And now all the stuff he's did when no one was watching, it shows up now in the field. He's a winner. And I do want to say this, too, because I know you have FSU, Dave. They're probably listening. I think FSU is going to beat Miami. And there's 3 games. I wouldn't call them revenge games. The Georgia-Bama FSU game. There's one opponent I feel sorry for. That's Kentucky. I don't feel sorry for Vandy. I don't feel sorry for Miami. I think Georgia, FSU, and Bama are going to roll.
So you think Florida State will roll against Miami?
I do.
Okay.
I think it's going to come down. I think it's going to be like Georgia, Bama, come down to the second half, fourth quarter. I could be wrong. I haven't followed FSU, Miami that much, or even football that much. But I do think if you want to call it revenge games, those 3 might be called revenge games. But guys, I really think people question Bama's secondary and their safeties. By the way, if people who still do that, go back to the Bama Georgia game second half. Watch that game again. Watch how intricate those guys showed up on every offensive series for Georgia. Georgia could not move the ball. And I guarantee you they're going to taunt and tempt Pavia to throw into deceitful coverage, and he's going to get picked off probably 2 or 3 times on Saturday.
Wow.
Anyway.
Well, Glenn, we always appreciate your calls, and hope you guys have a good rest of the week.
Thanks, Glenn.
All right, guys. Have a great week.
Thank you.
You too.
Appreciate that very much. We're just talking about predictions. Manny Navarro, who writes for The Athletic, we talk about him on occasion on this program because he will come out on Thursday with some detailed predictions on games, oddly specific things that's going to happen during a game. This is what he wrote about the Vandy, Alabama game. Diego Pavia is walking into Bryant-Denny Stadium with oodles of swagger, a 5-0 team, and the knowledge that he already has beaten Alabama last year. The problem for Alabama in this matchup, Vanderbilt has been much better both at running the ball and stopping the run than the Crimson Tide this season. Take the logos off the helmets, and the Commodores would probably be the favorites in this game. The difference in the game is turnovers. Alabama commits its first 2 of the season, but Vanderbilt commits more. Bama wins by a touchdown.
No.
Didn't see that one coming, did you?
No.
It was a little twist.
It was a big twist.
He's sweating.
Conrad was getting like irritated and pissed off.
He was.
That's me.
I wasn't going to interrupt Glenn again during his phone call. I think Vanderbilt's offense poses more of a challenge than Georgia's did to Alabama's defense.
Yeah, I mean, Gunnar Stockton can some days just not hit the broadside of a bar. I mean, let's be honest. And we can also be honest by the fact that Alabama's DBs got burned on a pass that should have been a 50-yard touchdown for Georgia, and maybe they win the game 28-24 if Georgia doesn't have Butterfingers playing format wide receivers.
Diego Pavia last year versus Alabama, 16 of 20. 250 yards plus. But I'm looking at the passes that went for over 20 yards.
We had that big touchdown late on, 4th and 1 or 3rd and 1?
Yep. The longest completion he had last year was of 36 yards.
Would have been that touchdown.
Yep. And then the next to that one would be 33, and then he had passes of 2019, but nothing crazy. The longest run that Vanderbilt had versus Alabama was 13 yards.
Well, I mean, their bread and butter last year was 6 yards, 6 yards,
Yeah.
5 yards, 8 yards.
Why are they so good on third down? It's because they have third and manageable.
I was about to say,
They don't
because
have
they're
third
not
and 25.
correct. Correct.
How'd he get in there?
No, you are. No, you're right. And again, I mean, I know Pat laid it out very well yesterday. Again, Vanderbilt is a very, very good team. But I just think a lot of the sentiment that people had last week before the Alabama-Georgia game, which was fair, of, well, okay, we've seen them play one real team, and they didn't look great against Florida State, so are we really going to put all of this weight into what they did against ULM and Wisconsin? I understand what they did against South Carolina. Very impressive. I mean, they just beat a Utah State team 55-35, right? Like, Alabama is significantly more of a challenge than any team that they will have played this year. Doesn't mean Vanderbilt can't win, but again, you go and look at these stats, and you're like, oh, they're top 5 in the country in this stat, they're top 10 in this stat. It's because they have played a bunch of crap teams.
Well, but again, those crap teams, it's not like they're playing a bunch of
Charleston Southerns?
Yeah, a bunch of FCS every single week.
Just the first one.
Yeah.
And to their credit, they are annihilating the lesser competition, which is what you should do in those games. But
yeah, they had 635 yards against Georgia State, a team that beat them the year before.
And that's a very impressive stat. It's a little different than going on the road in the SEC.
I'm just looking at their defense from last year. I'm talking about Vandy. Like, the Alabama game was the outlier. Like, nobody, I mean, they shut Alabama down. The time of possession, Bama having 45 total plays on the day. That's not even close to, well, I'll take that back. Alcorn State. They only allowed Alcorn State 44 plays. Bama had 45. But everybody else on their list, 69, 73, 69, 71, 75, 64. You see what I'm saying? It was just one of those weird games that, and I think once Alabama realized that they were in a football game, it was too late.
But I still, going back to the schedule, though, they've still beaten South Carolina on the road convincingly, and also gone to Blacksburg and beaten Virginia Tech convincingly.
That was a close game in the first half, and then they fired their coach. Like, I know it. I get what you're saying, but I'm not. No, we're not doing that with Vanderbilt. We've spent all week acting like they're the second coming of Jesus Christ in football. They are Vanderbilt. It is Diego Pavia. I'm sick and tired of it.
It's the same attitude that Alabama had last year. Right there. It's starting to seep out. See, that's pride. That's your pride that's starting to seep out. You're not taking this team seriously. You're saying you are.
I am taking them
You just outed
seriously.
yourself. You're not.
I'm just saying, last week we heard all week, Alabama hasn't played anybody. They're going to play Georgia, and they're going to get put in their place. Well, Vanderbilt's in that same spot this week, and maybe they pull an Alabama and they go and shock everybody. But no. It's Vanderbilt. If there is one game on your schedule this year that you've had circled since last season, it was this game. Doesn't mean it's not going to be competitive. Doesn't mean Vanderbilt's not going to score plenty of points. Not happening. It's not happening.
Blame Conrad, everybody.
It's not happening.
Man, it's very similar to the Florida State conversation.
Yep. Pride, he was doing so good all week long.
You can tell it's just been building.
Showing respect, saying all the right things, and then boom, it was. So you think it's going to be a blowout?
No, I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I do think Alabama's going to win the game.
Do you think Vanderbilt's better than Florida State?
Ooh, that's a good question, actually. I'll still take Florida State for right now because I've seen them do it against a team like Alabama.
Do you believe in what Manny Navarro said at The Athletic, that if you strip the teams of their logos, that Vanderbilt should be favored over Alabama?
No, because people have common sense and they can go look at the record and who they've done that against and realize very quickly, oh, they're playing a bunch of, powder puff teams. Charleston Southern, Virginia Tech, who fired their coach, Georgia State. Oh, they beat a Georgia State team that beat them last year. It's Georgia State.
You forgot about Utah State.
I forgot.
You'll take a shot at the Aggies, too?
Yeah, they're great.
Who
No,
else?
I'll be nice. BYU got enough from Colorado fans. I'll be nice to you.
Utah State was at, 14-7? Like midway through the second quarter? Wasn't that right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we got calls coming in. 1-800-239-WJOX.
Clark Lee's dad, he's a nice guy. You can take a shot at him, too.
All right, you're listening to the Thursday edition of Three Man Front. Love to hear from you on the text line as well. Brought to you by Courtesy GMC, 205-834-9450.
Well, it's getting thick in here. Conrad continuing to double down on his prediction of Alabama. They're going to dominate Vanderbilt. He threw out a score I don't even want to repeat during the break. A lot of you want to comment. You can do so. 205-834-9450 on the text line or the phone lines, 800-239-WJOX. That's where we go now. First, our buddy B-Ham Dog. B-Ham Dog, what's up?
Oh, not much, guys. Not much, guys. First, let me congratulate all the Bama fans. Congratulations. Congratulate my daddy, Conrad.
Wow.
But I do have to call him out. He made a comment, and I don't think Gunnar Stockton gets near enough credit. He says that sometimes Gunnar Stockton cannot hit the broadside of a barn.
I apologize. That was ugly. I shouldn't have said that.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Apology accepted. Would you say, but let's back it up with some analytics. Would you say the same thing about Ty Simpson this year? That he cannot hit the broadside of a barn?
No, and I know their completion percentage is going to be similar.
It's higher. Stockton is higher. He was actually higher during the Georgia game, and he's on the year higher. Not much, a fraction, but he's higher. Again, I don't think you just don't have – it's a totally different scheme. Gunner's not asked to go out and make the throw 100 times because we know what? We can rush the ball for 200 yards. That's what we do. And it's always been that way with a Georgia quarterback. When was the last time that Alabama and Georgia had a quarterback that just really wasn't good? It's been a long time. We're just not asked to do the same things that a quarterback at Alabama is asked to do under this offense. But when he's asked to make big-time throws, he's clutch, man. He made a huge third-down throw. All I kept hearing is he cannot layer the ball. He layered the ball over the linebacker and fit it in between three defenders. You go back and watch it.
Oh, that third down throw? Oh, that throw was fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, he's done that. The throw against Tennessee in the end zone to tie the game. The throws he's winning me over. I didn't think he had an elite arm, but when he's had to throw an elite pass, he's made those throws.
Oh, he's been so clutch.
Anyway,
he has exceeded my expectations. I knew he was gutty, B-Ham Dog, but what he has done when he's had to do it with precision,
yeah,
it's been really impressive.
He really has. But anyway, I'm on board with what Conrad says. Bama beats Vandy by 3 touchdowns, and it wouldn't shock me if it was 4.
I'll tell you what,
man. I'm telling you right now.
Why even play the game, Pat?
I'm telling you this right now. I said this a long time ago. Bama was a sleeping giant. I didn't feel good about this game. You can ask anybody that talks to me. I didn't feel good about this last game with Georgia and Bama. I think the Florida State thing was a fluke. I don't think Florida State's that good. Now, that's not giving really much credit to Alabama. I don't think they're that good. And I'd be shocked if they don't get beat by Clemson. I'm telling you. I just think Bama that was a fluke, just like the Vanderbilt thing was a fluke last year. Bama will go run the table, but I also think Georgia will run the table, and there's a problem. So we see each other again in the SEC championship game.
If they beat Georgia again, does he go from daddy to your granddaddy?
I don't know, man. I live here. Look, I live 30 minutes from Tuscaloosa. The ridicule I get from I go into the dentist office Monday. I try to tune out. I couldn't even listen to you guys. I can't listen to it. I go into the dentist office to get my annual cleaning. I open my mouth, and all I hear is Bama this, Bama that. And it's tough, man. I'll say this, and I'll get off the phone. This was the hardest loss that I think I've had to endure in probably the last 20 years.
Wow. Well, I promise you, I'll never give you too tough of a time, B-Ham Dog. I appreciate your congratulations.
2nd and 26 doesn't trump that one?
What's that?
2nd and 26 was not more hurtful?
That one hurt, but it's the fact that you cannot lose at home, post-Saban, at night. You can't.
Fair.
I get it.
All right, guys. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, brother.
Roll Tide!
Not to throw him under the bus, but I did tell him, I hope we see each other again in the postseason. He said, I really hope that we don't.
Let's go to Parker. Hey, Parker.
What's up, y'all? How are y'all doing?
We're just trying to wade through all this whatever that Conrad's spewing right now.
But love the show. Listen to y'all every day, here right outside of Pensacola in Pace, Florida.
Thank you.
And I love listening to the show. So would y'all say that this Alabama-Vandy game could now be like one of our new rivals with how good they are now?
Well, if Vandy beats them this weekend, I would put it right up there. I mean, that's what happened. The Tennessee-Alabama was not really a rivalry anymore because Alabama owned them all the years that Nick Saban was the head coach until Tennessee got lucky and won a couple years ago.
I mean, I'm really nervous for this game, and I would not. I mean,
You should be, Parker.
Parker, just go back and listen about 10 minutes ago to Conrad Van Order, what he had to say about Vanderbilt and the game, and you won't be worried anymore because Conrad feels as ease about this game as I've ever seen him.
Yep.
All right, ready for Parker's score prediction?
Let's do it.
Absolutely. What you got?
I got Bama 35, Vandy 28.
Okay, close game. All right.
That sounds like you're.
Parker, thank you for the call.
You've actually got your head on straight. Thank you, Parker. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Appreciate you listening,
Y'all
as
have a
always.
great day.
You too.
Shout out to Pace, Florida.
Absolutely. Been there many times.
We have some interesting texts that are coming in quickly. 205-834-9450. This coming from Skip at the Blue Oyster.
Okay.
Did that caller just say Conrad is his daddy? Is he taking applications?
It's turned into a episode of Maury Povich.
Oh, Rat Poison, 37-17 Bama. All right. Freeman says Gunnar Stockton's percentage higher because of all of them bubble screens. Might have something to do with it. Sam says, I'm with Conrad on this one. Vanderbilt's one game these players have been waiting on. Plus, I would add Oklahoma.
Well, it's a rivalry game now, so.
It is a rivalry game.
Even though Alabama's 23-1 in their last 24 games against Vanderbilt. But it's a rivalry.
Conrad giving Vanderbilt all the bulletin board material they need. Shaking my head. We are too. CJ says, I think the difference will be Alabama will have film to go off of for Vandy. They open the season against Florida State with 2 new coordinators and no film to watch. Just comparing the two. Let's go to Crimson Convict. CC, what's up?
Hey, get off my boy, man.
Nope.
Y'all going to back out. Look, I know what y'all do.
Nope.
Y'all paint him in this corner. There's Pat painting him in the corner. There's Landrum over there jabbing him with a stick until finally the dog decides to bite.
Yep.
And now y'all want to ride him for it. Look, I don't like it. I think it's a kiss of death. I already told him that.
He's got to be mentally tougher, Crimson Convict.
He can't take the bait, and he did.
Golly.
Give me a break. Y'all are two grown men picking at this young man, just trying to goat him into basically painting him on stuff in the corner. Because God forbid Vanderbilt pull it off this weekend, he's not going to live that down.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
Well, I'm riding with him. I told him he's got a friend in his corner.
I appreciate it, man. I need all the help I can get.
Well, that's awfully kind of ECC.
Yeah,
that's good.
That's good of you.
Yeah.
Take the young lad under your wing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I got to stand with him because y'all definitely aren't.
No.
I mean,
I can tell you that. We won't. No.
Nope.
Anyone who is listening to this show, and if you haven't, this is par for the course for Pat and Landrum, guys.
You better believe it.
All right, listen, Conrad, I got you, brother. And if it doesn't straighten up here over the next couple hours, I'll be come seeing him.
I appreciate it,
CC,
Conrad. We'll be all right.
me and Pat don't have much, but we still have this. And this is what we cling to.
All right, boys. See you.
Appreciate it. Keep the phone calls rolling in. We'll get to more of your text. 205-834-9450.
Well, as the weather begins to turn, hopefully very soon, now's the time to get your mowers and tractors serviced for the end of the season, and Artec Tractor is the place to do it. They're your certified Mahindra servicing dealer, and just in time for the hunting season, their hunter's package includes a Mahindra 1635 with loader, trailer, bush hog, tiller, and spreader, all for $0 down and just $450 per month. Artec has a full line of tractors as well as heavy construction equipment for those big jobs just north of Jasper on Highway 5 or online at artectractor.com.
Are the natives in Auburn, Alabama getting restless? Rob Pate, former Auburn DB, breaks it down, gives us a report next on 3-Man Front.
It is 11:46 here on Jocks. Appreciate you tuning us in on this Thursday. We'll head to the loveliest village on the plains momentarily. Talk to former Auburn DB Rob Pate, Dr. Rob Pate, Entrepreneur of the Year in Lee County. He'll join the program coming up in just a couple minutes.
I had a dream the other night that I opened up a Sweet Frog.
Did you?
Yeah,
in competition, like across the street?
No, it was weird. It's the state of North Carolina. I don't know what part of North Carolina.
Well, let's ask Rob if there's any
franchise opportunities.
Yeah, franchise opportunities. Dr. Pate, Landrum just told the audience that he had a dream the other night that he opened up a Sweet Frogs franchise in North Carolina.
Well, there's a lot in North Carolina.
Oh.
Sweet Frog began in Virginia, and so the bordering states are all pretty loaded up with Sweet Frogs, which is kind of crazy. When we were opening it and we were talking to people locally, nobody had ever heard of it here in Auburn, and so we were very familiar with it because of the one at Lee Branch there in Birmingham. But yeah, you could definitely get you one in North Carolina. That would do well.
It's just another crazy dream. I don't know.
He has some weird ones. I mean,
I had one of me and Jimbo Fisher in a helicopter heading to the Winfrey to meet the regents for drinks in the Winfrey bar. It's just crazy stuff.
And both of them had their shirts off in the helicopter.
No,
which
that
was
is
also very
Pat
cool.
adding to the story. That's Pat's version. Maybe Pat dreamed about that. I don't know. Rob, let's talk about Auburn. I don't know. I'm trying to. Remember the last time I've been this baffled about what I've seen offensively, and I guess I have to just go back to maybe a portion of last year, but it seemed like even the offense last year had it more together than what we just saw. What is going on? What are you seeing, Rob, with that offense? Because I'm putting it right at the feet of Hugh Freeze in that offensive staff, because I don't think that they have helped their players out or put them in position to have a whole lot of success.
I agree with you 100%. I mean, I don't know what I could add to that other than, preparation obviously is lacking, and game planning is not significant enough to be successful at this level. I thought unbelievably Jesse Palmer probably said it best on the broadcast when he talked about the lack of getting Cam Coleman targets, but just lining him up in the same position and letting a defense dictate to you, what you're going to do. Not putting him in motion. I mean, I can remember when we had Ronnie Daniels as a receiver at Auburn, and he had gone through just a couple of weeks where he was really hot, and he was making play after play, and instead of just making him a sitting duck out there, split out and knowing where the defense would line up and double and bracket him, and Auburn put him in the backfield and let him motion out so we could pick who could cover him, and we dictated the terms. And just the lack of creativity and the imagination and the desire to be able to put the ball in your playmakers' hands, that's a lot of wasted talent. And but just not shooting yourselves in the foot with pre-snap penalties. Texas A&M unbelievably had more penalty yards than Auburn. But they were effective in getting the ball in the hands of their playmakers, and Auburn just has not been able to do that. And the expectations for the offensive line, I think that Auburn might have the most experienced offensive line in college football, but based off of number of starts. I might be wrong, but they're up there near the top. You would not know that by watching the play, watching the pre-snap penalties, not having a plan for entering a loud environment. They're not being served well as players. They've got to do more by all means. I mean, if you're acting together as one unit, you can still have success if everybody's on the same page. But they just aren't, and it's been tough to watch.
In regards to a potential quarterback change, how much can be laid at the feet of Jackson Arnold? We've just been talking about the coaching staff, but do you anticipate that Auburn is actually having those internal conversations about maybe a change at quarterback?
I'm sure they're having the conversations, but I don't know how much of it you can lay at his feet. I mean, there's definitely some that you can. When you go back to the Oklahoma game and you take 10 sacks, and you've had such a mismatch with Cam Coleman out there on a freshman corner, at least half of those sacks should have just been lob balls to Cam Coleman and see if he could make a play or get a pass interference drawn. But we talked. This was kind of the issue with Jackson Arnold last year at Oklahoma, where so many things went wrong around him that could you really grade him, and it be an accurate representation of his abilities? I don't know if that's not the case here now. But it's a coaching issue. It's a pre-snap penalty issue. And then there's also the times where we've got guys running free and he can't find them. He doesn't see them. He won't release the ball. It's like it's been ground into him that you have to protect the football at all costs. That Auburn's not willing to take any shots down the field and put the ball in harm's way. You just can't play winning football that way. You can't pressure there's no threat to the defensive backfield, and the defensive coordinator is just teeing off on Auburn, and they're dictating the terms. I mean, they can line up and show you, I've got a guy over the top of Coleman, and he's totally off the table at that point. And you just can't allow your best players to be taken out of the game based off of alignment. And these coaches have to do better at figuring that out. And unfortunately, trying to figure that out against Georgia is probably not the best. It doesn't equate to the most opportunities for success.
And that's kind of leads me to this. With the schedule that they have, your experience of playing college football, being around it your entire life, what's the likelihood, number one, that an offense gets this turned around, starts being the productive offense that most people thought it would be heading into the season? But also, the second part of that question is, how much confidence, Rob, do you have in this coaching staff that they're actually going to implement those changes?
I don't have a lot of confidence at this point, and I don't think many Auburn people do, because, I mean, you're 3 years into it, and you are who you are. I mean, the stats are, and the record is what it says it is. I mean, we could hope and wish it were better, and I could hope we could throw the ball around. And it's you watch so many different teams on Saturdays, and it's like, oh man, that's what it looks like to just effortlessly throw the ball downfield, and we just can't do it. And we've struggled for a long time. And so to sit here and say that, yeah, they can figure this out in the off week, and it's as simple as inserting, one of these other I think if you put Deuce Knight behind this offensive line right now, you're setting him up for long-term counseling down the road. And so absolutely not would he be the guy. It would have to be Ashton Daniels would be the person that you would look at. But Auburn's got to run the football. I mean, Auburn's got to be more physical. I mean, at some point you just have to line up and just whip the guy in front of you, and just keep leaning on and staying in the game and not taking yourself out of the game. That's the most frustrating aspect of all this, is that we're just not smart from a schematic standpoint, and we're taking ourselves and we're not even allowing the defense to put us in bad situations for the other team. We're just doing it to ourselves. And you got to rectify that first, and hopefully you can get on the other side of this and start having some success if you do.
Rob, we always appreciate the time. Enjoy the weekend, and we got a big one, Deep South's oldest rivalry, to talk about when you join us next week.
All right, guys. Well, I hope you have a great weekend. Look forward to it, and War Eagle.
Thanks, Rob. Get into Sweet Frog in Auburn if you're there.
Absolutely.
Go say hello to the wonderful Pate family. We'll continue here on Three Man Front, top of the hour. Next hour, the Southern gentleman, Brett Norsworthy, who has been on an absolute tear when it comes to his I Ain't Scared Bowl prediction. Your text, your phone calls, as we continue to inch closer to the college football weekend. Three Man Front, right here on Jocks.